तिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So very happy to be here after a long time, a long gap. So today we are discussing a topic called the power of choices. So this is something that's very important to understand because no one is born great. Anyone who becomes great by the choices he makes. So everyone has equal opportunities in one sense. Life is all about how we choose. There is a saying, one definition of life is a segment BD. Life starts with what? Birth. Right? B refers to birth. I'm okay. I'm okay. So B refers to birth. Okay? And D refers to death. So point B, point D, both of which is not under our control. Okay? We never chose what time to be born, when to be born, where to be born, who our parents were, not under our control. That was not our choice. Point D is definitely not our choice. When it is going to come, how it is going to come, we don't know. So life is a segment BD. Between B and D is what letter? Is the letter C. So life is basically a series of choices that we make. At every point in this life, from B till D, till the point of death, we'll have multiple moments. And each moment we have a choice. Like today, right? Nimi Mataji announced the program. So many people signed up for the program. You may sign up, but still you have a choice whether to come or not. Okay? And the next time we announce the program, again you'll have a choice. So this choice muscle is always there with us. So depending on what we choose, what all we choose in life, the sum total is what is going to happen in our next life. That's what destiny is. The amount of choices we make. So we all become, if you have to become great, we all become great by choice. So there's a saying that being born a male is a matter of birth. Yeah, even a female. Being born a male or a female is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of age, right? Or being a woman is a matter of age. You are born male, female, and then with time everyone becomes a man or a woman. But being a gentleman or a gentlewoman is a matter of choice. That is not defined. That doesn't happen automatically. This happens by the choice we make. So we are neither born winners nor born losers. We are only born choosers. We can only choose. Right? So great people, as I said, are not born in the maternity ward. Great people they become great by the choices they make in life. So it's very important for us that we exert this muscle of choice. So if there are two powerful and two magical words in this world, it is these two words, I choose. These are the two most powerful words. I choose. Now we may be in a difficult situation, we may be suffering or we may be in a mess. But from this point on, we can choose. So, where we have reached in life at this point, whether it is good or bad, is the number of choices that we have made in the past. Right? Depending on that, it's karma or whatever you say, we can choose a certain action. The reaction is not under our control. So, we have a certain situation in life. Now, from here on, if we want to change things, we have the control. The control button is with us, the remote is with us. So, these are two magical words: I choose. That means we have the, when we say the power of choice, it means the power of responsibility. We are responsible for our happiness or suffering. We are the ones who create our own destiny. What does responsibility? The word responsibility is made of two words: response and ability. That means we have the ability to choose our response. Animals don't have that ability. Animals are just programmed in a certain way. But we have a ability to choose our response. And the way we choose our response will depend on what our outlook in life is going to be, whether we are going to be happy, sad, everything. Situations in life are not in our control. People around us are not in control. How we choose to respond to those situations, how we choose to respond to those people, that is under our control. Generally, we push the whole thing on others because of him, because of this, because of that. But actually, those are situations. If you choose to be happy, you can choose to be happy in any situation. And if you choose to be miserable, even if you have the best situation, you will still be miserable. So it's all about understanding that the power is with us. We may have given the power to someone else, to some situation, to some people. We can always claim that power back. That's the idea of the power of choices, that we are under control if we make the right choices in life. So, what are the various options we have? Life throws at us various options. What do we want? Okay? And ultimately, what we want is what we are going to get. Right? So, what do we want in life? What are the choices we want to make? So, what we are going to do from henceforth, the next couple of minutes or at least half an hour or so, we are going to discuss the various choices that we have. And then it's up to us to choose what we want. Like Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, Arjuna asked Lord Krishna to speak the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna spoke 18 chapters, 700 verses. After the entire Gita, you know what Lord Krishna tells Arjuna? He tells Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, now you decide what you want to do. Whether you want to follow me or not, now the choice is yours. See, even Lord Krishna doesn't force the thing on Arjuna. He could have forced it, but he doesn't force. He gives the choice. Now you choose. So now we have different choices in life. It's ultimately up to us. What do we want to choose? Whether we want to choose just having a lifestyle or having a life. There's a big difference between these two things. People confuse having a great lifestyle with a great life. Both are not the same. Great lifestyle, maybe the car you move around with, the kind of dress you have, the kind of brands you wear. That lifestyle may be great. But the point is, in that great lifestyle, do you have a great life? Like one of a devotee, you may have the best phones, but that best phone will not define you whether you're going to be happy. You may have the trendiest, the best of the phone. It will depend on what you use that phone for. That's what will define. So gadgets and facilities will give you a certain experience in life, but that is not life. Life is something beyond it. So we all have a choice whether we want to focus on lifestyle in this world. We just want to show how we live, or we genuinely want to live life in a proper way. This is one very famous poem, and a very thought-provoking poem. Life, it makes you think. When we did the Journey of Self-Discovery course, I read this poem out. But at this point, it will actually make us reflect. What do we want in life? What do we prioritize and what do we choose in life? The paradox of a time in history is that we have taller buildings but shorter tempers. We have wider freeways but narrower viewpoints. We spend more but have less. We buy more but enjoy it less. We have bigger houses and smaller families. We have more conveniences but less time. We have more degrees but less sense. We have more knowledge but less judgment. In today's world, we have more experts but less solution. More medicine, but less wellness. We have multiplied our possessions but reduced our values. We talk too much, love too seldom, and hate too often. We have learned how to make a living but not a life. We may have added years to life but not life to years. We have been all the way to the moon and back but have trouble crossing the street to meet the new neighbor. These are times of tall men and short character, steep profits, shallow relationships. These are times of world peace. Now, even that is not there, but definitely domestic warfare. These are times of more leisure but less fun, more kinds of food but less nutrition. These are times of fancier houses but broken homes. It is a time when there is too much in the show window but nothing in the stock room. Life, it makes you think. So this is the modern world where there is a lot to show. Everyone's life is like very jazzy and very trendy, and as they say, the silver screen is like very, very attractive. But actually, everyone's life is quite hollow because it all depends on what we prioritize. Whether we want to prioritize living life, genuinely experiencing those simple joys of life, or we want to prioritize just making like a, just the show window, just showing off what we have. In today's times, it's also very important to choose whether we want speed or direction. Imagine if someone is going in a car full speed, like Matri has got BMW. So imagine, if you have like your best car, going full speed, and someone stops and asks that person, "Where are you going?" He says, "I don't know." Again, like, so foolish. You're going full speed, but you don't know where you're going. Before we start a car, before we sit in the car and start it, we first decide where our destination is. We never take a ride without having a destination. So, but in life, we are living life just like that without any direction. So, if you have speed and you don't have the right direction, you're going to go further away from where you're supposed to go. So, before you increase the speed in life, before you increase your gear in life, it's first important to prioritize what the direction is. Where you want to reach, what is your goal in life? This is something that is very, very important. You all might have read this book of Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. So in that he says, what is the difference between a leader and a manager? A manager is one who can efficiently climb a ladder. You give a ladder, a manager will give you n number of ways in which you can efficiently climb. But the leader will tell you whether the ladder is on the right wall or not. If you efficiently climb the ladder, quickly you climb the ladder. But if you realize that the ladder only is on the wrong wall, you have just wasted your time royally. So the point is, more than speed, it's important that we first fix our direction. What is our goal in life? And that's what the Vedic scriptures recommend us. Fix your goal in life. What do you want? Whether you want long-term happiness, short-term happiness, this is what we need to think about. So in today's society, Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON's founder Acharya, he would say today's society is a society where everyone is simply living, hardly thinking. People are just living. You ask them why you are living, why you are running around so much, they will say that my neighbor is doing that, this person is doing that. That's the status quo basically. You want to prove yourself. You just want to fit into the society. That's all. So Srila Prabhupada would say today's modern world is simply living, hardly thinking. But rather we should be living simple and thinking high. Not simply living, hardly thinking. Human life is meant for high thinking, not simply living. So we need to choose whether we want speed or direction. Whether we want to prove or improve. This is also something that's very important. In today's world now, we are so much in a competition mood, and especially with social media. Previously, before the social media, you would compare with few people around you. Now with the social media, you can compare with like millions of people, and the stress is mounting so much. There's so much stress that is coming. Previously, you would get access to news in and around your place. Now we have access to global news, and most of the news is so much negative. So we are so much bogged down by this notion of proving ourselves better than someone else, right? So rather, instead of wasting our time to prove who we are, how we are better than others, rather we use our time to improve. So there's no point in proving. Even if you win, even if you prove yourself better than others, what are you going to get at the end? Rather spend that time in improving, making your life better. So if you want to compete with anyone, the best person to compete is with yourself. You compete with your previous records and you get better. Just like athletes, na, when they practice, they compete with themselves. They run one lap, they run, they keep time, and then they try to break that record itself. So if you have to compete, it's better to compete with yourself rather than competing with anyone else. Now there were like two students who went to an exam, right? And one student he studied very well, the other student didn't study. So this guy who didn't study, he just copied the paper of the other guy. And when they came out, they realized that everyone's question paper is completely different. So when a question paper is completely different, what is the point in copying? So in this world, we're trying to imitate this person, that person, this person. We're trying to compete. But the point is that everyone's problem is different. Everyone's question paper is different. So there is no point competing and there is no point proving yourself. It's better to work on improving your own life. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON's founder Acharya, his guru was called Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He would have this beautiful statement. He would say, when faults in others confuse you, misguide you, look within, you will find sufficient subject matter. So we are busy looking at faults of others and trying to prove that I am better. Rather than looking at faults of others, better to look within. We have sufficient fault. He would give this example. A needle, a needle? A needle is a sieve. You know what's a sieve? What do you call a sieve? Chalni, right? Chalni? Yeah. A sieve is telling a needle, see, there is a hole in you. A sieve is telling a needle, there is a hole in you. How many holes a sieve has? Right. So this is our problem. We are busy finding faults in others, but we are not finding faults in ourselves. So rather than wasting time in proving ourselves, we should spend time in improving our life, making our life better, developing good qualities in life. Rather than just going through life. This is one idea, just go through life. The other choice that we have is we can grow through life. So go through life means, just go on, just like everyone goes on. There is school, there is college, there is job, marriage, finish. And then people's life pass away. As I told you, people just run life like that without even thinking what they are doing. So rather we should be able to grow through life. Hare Krishna. So we may have different problems that come. These problems that come in life are like wake-up calls for us. Right? When a certain problem comes in life, it's a wake-up call to realize that, Baba, we have to get a little more serious. In the Mahabharata, you all have heard of Yudhishthir Maharaj. He's the eldest of the Pandavas. So one time he goes to a place in Vrindavan called Kamyavan, and he meets one Yaksha. And this Yaksha is asking a lot of questions to Yudhishthir. One of the questions that he is asking Yudhishthir is, what is the most astonishing thing in the world? What is the greatest wonder in the world? We have like 7 wonders, na? Eiffel Tower, Taj Mahal, this, that. So he's asking, what is the greatest wonder? You know what Yudhishthir says? He quotes a very beautiful verse. Ahani ahaniya bhutani gachanti yamalayam sheshastavaram icchanti kim ascharya ataparam. Yudhishthir says the greatest wonder, the greatest astonishment is, every day we see hundreds and thousands of people dying and going to the abode of Yamaraj. But those who are alive feel that their time will never come. This is the greatest astonishment. That means we are seeing misery everywhere. We are seeing death. We are seeing everything. But still nothing is striking us. Nothing is striking us, Baba, that something like this could occur to us also. Right? So instead of just going through life, we have to grow through life. We have to evolve through life. As I told you in the first sentence that I mentioned, anyone will become a man or a woman with age. With time, your body will grow. But the question is our intellect growing? Is our spirituality growing? Is our wisdom growing? That will not grow automatically. We have to invest in it. It will not happen automatically. So in today's world, you have people who are having a body of an adult, but mentality still of child. The child is still attached. Like you take a child, to a beach, and the child makes a castle in the sand. And a wind, a wave comes and destroys the castle, and the child is crying. And the parents may feel, what kind of child, unnecessarily attached to that sandcastle. But as adults, we also do the same thing. When something is lost, we also cry, right? The size of the toy may change, but the mentality is still the same. So we have to actually grow through life, and that growth will come when we come in like satsangs like this, when we read Gita, when we read Bhagavatam, then growth will come. This growth is not going to come on its own. It's not going to happen automatically. The body will grow automatically, but this kind of growth will not come automatically. So we have a choice whether we want information or transformation. In today's world, there is unlimited information. ChatGPT will give you a lot of information, right? You will get a lot of information in Google and everything. In fact, today's world is a world of information technology. Information overload. There's too much information. The problem is there is information out there, but there is no transformation. Today's world is a place, it's a time when there is information, but actually no transformation. So life is just not about gaining information, it's about gaining transformation. Bhagavad Gita, when we read, we are not reading Gita, we don't read scriptures for information. That I know this shloka, I know this shloka, I know this meaning, I know that meaning. Scriptures are not meant for information gathering. Scriptures are meant for transformation. You may know so many things, but how much of that you are able to apply in life? Srila Prabhupada would say, philosophy without practical application is simply useless. You may know a lot of philosophy. It may be there in your head, but if it doesn't transform your heart, if your heart is not transformed, then this information is practically useless. It's just a dead weight. So life is just not for information, it's actually meant for transformation. We have a choice whether we want valuables or we want values. Today's world, everyone wants valuables. But more important than valuables is values. So there's a saying, when you value valuables only, then at the end you will neither have values nor valuables. Because valuables is going to go away with time. But when you value values, you will have values also, you will have valuables also. So therefore in the Mahabharata, you have Duryodhan, who valued valuables but he didn't value value. And at the end, Duryodhan lost everything. But you have the Pandavas who valued values first, character first. And they got everything. So it's important that we prioritize values more than anything else. Otherwise, if you are just focused on the temporary things of this world, temporary will pass away. And what is permanent, we have not got. I think it is Chanakya who said, don't compromise the permanent for the impermanent. At the end, you will be left with none. Because if you have left the permanent, if you have left your connection with God for the impermanent things in this world, what is impermanent is anyway impermanent. And what is permanent was never with you because you never wanted it. So at the end, you neither have this, you neither have the permanent, you neither have the impermanent. So it is wise to invest more on what is permanent. And what is permanent is actually the value system that we carry. Right? It's like a building. For the building to stand strong, it's important that the foundation is deep. If the foundation is not deep, the building is not going to stand. So similarly, for us to stand strong in life with all the different problems, issues, temptations, everything, the value system has to be very strong. Therefore, in our Vedic India, when children were sent to school, or what we would call the Gurukul system, the training was not skill-based. Today's education is skill-based. In our Gurukul system, skill was there, but the focus was more the character. The character was the focus. Because if it is just skill-based and you don't have character, the wrong guy having the right skill will create a lot of mess. So therefore in the Gurukul system, the focus was, when children were sent to Gurukul, the focus was values. Characters were drained in. And skill will come eventually. Skill will definitely come. So this is something that is very important, which is missing in modern education. Srila Prabhupada, he made 7 purposes why he established ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. One of the purpose Srila Prabhupada mentions to fill the gap in today's modern education. Modern education is skill-based, no character-based. Where is the institution that teaches you character? Where is the institution that teaches children character, values? It's not there. So at the end, you have children who have good education, very intelligent children, very smart children, but no character. Completely, there's no character at all. So it's very important that we value values more than valuables, right? So another very important choice that we need to make in life is whether we want to keep crying, keep complaining, keep blaming people, situations, God, or whether we want to be more people who focus on the circle of influence, what we can do. So we call this the BMW circle or the CID circle. Madhuri has a BMW. So BMW circle means blaming, mourning, waning. Most people in this world are in BMW circle. They keep blaming others, they keep crying. Everyone. Because in this world, everyone has a reason to cry. Isn't it? Is there anyone who doesn't have a reason to cry? Everyone has a reason to cry, everyone has a reason to complain. But what are we going to focus on? Do you want to keep focusing on that? If we keep focusing on that, our life experience is going to be very bitter. Life experience will be very bitter. So, no one in one sense has a fair game in life. Everyone has some amount of unfairness. That is there with everyone. Lord Krishna, he was born in Mathura. Parents were Vasudeva and Devaki. And as soon as Lord Krishna was born, he was sent to a village. So here with Lord Krishna, there was some kind of unfairness. Lord Ram, he was supposed to be coronated, overnight sent to the forest. But what the scriptures teaches is, situations will come, problems may come. It may be unfair also. But then what is our response going to be? If we are going to keep crying about it, complaining about it, keep cribbing about it, we are going to mess with our own life experience. We are going to mess with our own life experience. Because life, if we are in a hope that when everything gets perfect, when there is no problem in life, then I will be happy, we'll never be happy. Like there was one person who wanted to make his bed perfect and then go to sleep. He was so engrossed in making that bed perfect. By the time he went to sleep, the alarm rang. He just didn't live life at all. So it's important that we don't get into this circle, we don't get into this trap. Rather, we focus on the CID circle. CID circle means what can I do? CID refers to what can I do? So instead of focusing on this thing messed up, that thing messed up, the point is you have to focus on what you can do. Changing the other person, can you do? Can't do. What you can do? My response I can change. So we have to always focus on what can I do in this situation. And when we focus on that, our life will get better and our situation also will improve. Right? See, if we focus on problems more, the problems will grow. What we focus on, that grows. If we focus on solutions, the solution will grow. Whether we are problem focused, solution focused. Whether we are focused on issues, we are focused on blessings. We all have some curses in life, we all have some blessings in life. What do we want to focus on? That's the very important choice that will depend how our outlook in life will be and what our overall experience in life will be. In the Bhagavatam 11th canto, you have Lord Krishna telling Uddhava a story of a Brahman called Avanti Brahman. Avanti is basically Ujjain. This Brahman was from Ujjain, very rich person. But due to some reason, he just lost everything. Literally from riches to rags. He came on the street. People started to abuse him because he was very miserly when he was rich. He hurt a lot of people. So when he became poor, everyone started to come and take revenge. People would throw stones at him. People would spit at him literally. So this fellow was in a mess. I mean, realities have changed so much. He just couldn't handle. He was just breaking down completely. At that time, some realization struck him. At that point, he became a very realized soul. So when breakdowns come in life, if we know to handle the situations properly, these breakdowns can be situations of breakthroughs. So when a breakdown comes, we either break down or we break through. So this Avanti Brahman broke through this whole thing. And he quotes a very beautiful shloka in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. He says, people are not the cause of my happiness or distress. He says, not even the stars, the graha, they are also not the cause of happiness and distress. Neither the demigods. None of these people. He says, the only cause of our happiness and distress is our own mind. How we perceive the situation. So if you are in the circle of CID, what can I do? our life experience will be very much better. Next very important choice that we need to make is whether we want to experience life in a very shallow way or we want to go deeper in life. Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who is Srila Prabhupada's very senior disciple, he tells a very interesting story. Years ago in the 1970s, Radhanath Maharaj basically is from US, Richard Slavin. At the age of 1920, he came to India hitchhiking. So he was sitting in on Prayag on the banks of the Ganga Yamuna, and he was sitting and meditating, and he saw one eagle, and this eagle started to slowly come down, and this eagle entered into the water, and with its claws the eagle pulled a fish and it flew away. So Maharaj was observing this whole thing, and his realization was that this fish, the eagle just pulled the fish, the fish basically died. So Maharaj had this realization, this fish, it never would have thought that that is going to be its last day. The fish is like swimming in the river as usual, thinking that, it's a good day, spending time with the family. Suddenly the eagle came and ripped the fish away from its reality and took the fish away. So Maharaj was mentioning this point. Similarly, we live life very carefree, completely lost in our own world, happy-go-lucky, but we don't know when the hawk of fate, when the eagle of fate is going to come and rip us out of our reality. But Maharaj had another very interesting thought. If this fish was swimming a little deeper, probably the eagle wouldn't have picked it up. So this is the problem. When we live life very superficially, we tend to get affected with everything and anything that comes. But when we go deeper in life, and going deeper in life means going deeper into spirituality. When we go a little deeper, that is where that sense of security, the sense of comfort, it comes. Otherwise, we'll be ripped apart through any problem and we'll be completely affected. It's also important for us, if you want to experience happiness, peace, it's important for us that we let go and not hold on. When we hold on to something, our own attachments, those attachments actually gives us a lot of problems. So sometimes we know something gives us pain, but the attachment is so strong we're not able to give it up. The simple solution is let go. Let go. There's a lot of bliss in letting go. Radhanath Maharaj, in his life, in his book, The Journey Home, he mentions another very interesting story, to explain this point. So because he was in India for a very long time, he was moving around in India like a mendicant, from here and there. He had a bag in which he had carried many books. Many people gifted him many books and he would carry it in his bag. And the bag had become heavy, but he was attached to each of his book. In that book there was autobiography of a yogi, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, many such books. So one day he was sitting in a busy street in Delhi, Connaught Circus place, and as he was sitting there, there was one guy who came with an iron rod, and he put that iron rod in his ear, and he pulled that iron rod out, ear wax came out. And this was a style of advertising. He said, now if you want me to remove from the other ear, pay me 1 paisa, whatever. So this whole discussion was going on, and by the time Maharaj told him, I don't have anything to give you, this fellow went away. Maharaj looked around, the bag was gone. That bag he was carrying for a year now, literally, which he was so attached to, the bag was gone. So when something has been part of your life very closely, it was almost like him only, it was so close to him. When he lost that bag, he became so desperate. He started looking here and there, asking people, he tried his best. He didn't get it. So I said, now what can be done? Now nothing can be done. So he walked few steps ahead. That is the time he realized that after a year, he is feeling very, very light. That bag, he was attached to it. But when he lost that bag, he actually understood how light he is feeling after he has lost it. So sometimes we carry our attachments. We feel that is part of us, right? But we don't realize the value of letting go until it goes off, right? So there's a lot of bliss in actually letting go. When you let go of something, that's when you actually experience a little freedom, right? And whatever God does to us, He does to us for a certain reason, right? Certain relationships come in life, it goes at a certain time in life. And it has to happen. If you keep holding on to it, you will suffer a lot. You have to let go and move. Like the river, just keeps flowing. We have to flow with life. We can't hold on to anything. We can't hold on to even emotions, certain negative emotion. We just keep playing back. People hold on to certain life experiences. Like you will have someone who will tell you the same story again and again. They will tell you, this person did this to me, this person did this to me. You ask them when they did it, they will say 10 years ago. Now 10 years ago that person has done something to you and you're replaying it continuously again and again. That means you have not let go. Because you have not let go, you don't have any mind space, heart space for anything new. Like your mobile now is at a certain capacity. If you want to store something new, you have to delete also. If you want everything and you want something new also, it's not going to happen. So if you want something new to enter your life, you have to let go of something old also. A very important choice that we need to make in life is whether we want to live a life of exploitation or we want to live a life of service. Exploitation doesn't mean that we actually exploit others, or you can say you want to live a life of selfishness or selflessness. We are all living generally in this material world. Everything that we do, right from the start till the end, is always about what is in it for me. We don't do anything without thinking about what's the profit for me. But actual real life begins when we actually serve others. Making this choice of serving others is something that's very important. There is this Chinese proverb which says, I don't know whether I mentioned this before. This Chinese proverb, it says that if you want to be happy for 1 hour, just go to sleep. If you want to be happy for 1 day, go out for a picnic, an outing. If you want to be happy for 1 month, get married. And then it says if you want to be happy for a lifetime, serve others. Because all this is very temporary. The only thing that is permanent is the joy of seva, the joy of doing service, right? So this is a joy that only when you do it, you can actually experience it. In one sense, it's like an addiction. Someone who gets addicted to serving, to helping, to serving out, it becomes like an addiction, very positive addiction. So people want to get rid of negative addictions. The only way you can get rid of negative addictions is to add a positive addiction in your life. The only way you can change bad habits is to add a positive habit, a good habit. Otherwise, you tell people, give this up, give that up, it's very difficult. See, anyone who is into wrong habits, whether it's smoking or whatever, they know that at some level it's bad. They know it, it's affecting them in some level. But they are not able to give up because they don't have an alternative. Lord Krishna tells in the Gita, Param Drishtva Nivartate. Once you get a higher taste, the lower taste immediately fades away. You don't have to tell anyone. Right? So as soon as you experience a higher taste of serving Krishna, the joy of serving devotees, the joy of helping people, these lower things immediately pass off because you are already experiencing something high, right? A higher joy. And as I told you, we need to decide whether we want short-term goal or long-term goal. In Sanskrit, this is called Shreyas or Preyas. Whether you want a short-term goal or a long-term goal. The problem is the sense gratification, the immediate kicks and the titillations that we get in this world is definitely, it gives you joy. No wonder it gives you the joy. But in the long term, it's not good. Short term, it's good. Long term, it's not good. But what the Vedic scriptures and the Bhagavad Gita recommends is short term, don't focus on short term, focus on the long term. Right? Bhakti, spirituality, short term, you may not immediately get those highs and those kicks. But in the long term, it is good. Right? Like for a student who goes to school or college, right? For him, school or college in one sense is like a suffering. Na? I mean, who loves to go to school and college? It's like an austerity. But you do that because your future is good. Now in your school and college, you go to a student is enrolled in a college and he decides that I don't want to study. He does all his enjoyments because college life also has a lot of enjoyments. Na? This party, that party. You focus on all those enjoyments, then you miss on your long-term goal. You'll have to work very hard to earn that money. Right? So life is like this, whether we want short-term goal or we want a long-term goal. So scriptures recommend us that we focus on the long-term goal. One time, there was a person who fell into an island, right? And the rule of that island was anyone who, from a cliff, that this guy fell into a land, the rule of that land was anyone who falls from that cliff, they would make him a king. So they caught this guy and made him a king. So this fella asked these people, before me someone might have fallen down, what did you do with that guy? Says our rule is for 1 year we keep this person as a king. And after that we throw this person into a god-forsaken island to die there. So this fellow thought, now they have crowned me as a king, but after 1 year they are also going to throw me there. So what he did was, this 1 year when he was a king, what he started to do? He started to send buildings, he started to make buildings in that island. He started to send food in that island. He started to send people in his island. And he made a house for himself there. And he started to grow different things. So he enjoys the facilities now as a king. And he planned for that, his future part also. So after this 1 year, he was sent to that island. He was very, very happy. If he was just focused on enjoying this 1 year as a king, then long term he'll have to suffer. So because he focused on that part, he had a long term of happiness. So it's very important that we focus on, as we live life and experience life in the now, it is also important that we focus on the life in the future, right? That tomorrow, the day after, the future in life also has to be very, very good, right? And also it's important we choose knowledge and not ignorance, right? Today's world is a place, as I told you, simply living, hardly thinking, but we have to focus on knowledge. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar, Jahan Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Adhikar. Krishna is like the sun and Maya or illusion is like darkness. Where there is Krishna, where there is knowledge, there is no darkness, right? So imagine the sun is there, sun rays is there everywhere. But if you are closing all your doors and window and then you say, no sun rays is coming to my house, is it the problem of the sun? Not the problem of the sun. The sun rays is there everywhere, but then you have to be ready to receive it also. You have the transmitter and you have the receiver. The transmitter may be doing everything perfectly, but the receiver is not proper, then what is the point? Right? You have to be ready to receive, you have to be eager to receive that knowledge. So we saw the different choices that we can make in life, whether we want a good lifestyle or whether we want a good life, whether we want speed or we want direction, whether we want to just prove who we are, how better we are, how great we are, or whether we want to improve, right? Whether we want to compete with others or we want to compete with our own self. Whether we want to just go through life or grow through life. And as I told you, go through life will happen automatically, right? But the grow through life will not happen automatically. You have to invest in that growth. And this growth is not the external growth, the internal growth. How much we are growing in wisdom, in maturity, in spirituality, in detachment. This growth we have to invest. So therefore, we also have the choice of whether we want just information or transformation. Whether we want to actually bring about certain transformation. Whether we want valuables or values. Whether we want to be in the BMW circle or we want to be in the CID circle. We want to be deep or shallow. We want to hold on or let go. We want to exploit or serve. So these are the various options that we have. And as I told you in the beginning, ultimately, depending on what we choose, is our experience in this life and in the future life going to be, right? So at every moment we have the choice. So every moment we'll have to choose what we want. So our devotees, they say, in 1 year, what is life? In 1 year, Krishna will tell you, and the other year, Maya will tell you. Both will keep preaching. Both the preaching is on. It's not that Maya is going to stop. The illusion, her preaching is also going on full swing, right? So we call this satsang, and the sang that is there outside people is called asatsang. Both is on. Both people are very enthusiastic. So in 1 year, Krishna will tell you something, and the other year, Maya will tell you something. And at every moment, it's going to happen. So if you are intelligent, if you keep choosing Krishna, if you keep saying yes to Krishna, and we keep saying no to Maya, then our future is very bright. So that's what life is, and that's what the power of choices is. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any questions, any comments?
Very interesting question.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned that, like in today's world, I agree, like we have choices, and in fact, we have a lot of choices.
Yeah, yeah,
Life
yeah.
is more
So
restricted.
this is called decision fatigue.
Yes.
It's a decision fatigue. Choosing too many things
It's not
is
difficult.
a tiresome.
Yeah. And moreover, with that comes the difference between the knowledge and the wisdom. Right now, a lot of decisions that we take are based on the knowledge that is outside. But it's very difficult to follow that internal wisdom that we have, and it takes time to do that. But when you are choosing, which is actually not your choice, but you're choosing from, say, the status quo, with that comes a lot of anxiety. So how do you make sure that because like I agree, like in long term you're focusing on spirituality and that wisdom will come. But that short term anxiety, it sometimes stops you from feeling self or feeling that you're being transformed or you're in the journey. So how to
So
take this?
therefore, support system, satsang, association. See, Arjuna, the Bhagavad Gita starts in that same setting, na? Arjuna was like very evolved also spiritually, very powerful, very successful. In all ways, like Arjuna was there. Whatever people want to reach, Arjuna had already reached there. But even at that point, Arjuna had this decision problem. He couldn't choose. If you read the first chapter of Gita, initial part of the second chapter, Arjuna is confused. Arjuna is telling Krishna, if I fight and if I win, that is also a problem. Because if I win, that means all my relatives will die. If I lose, that is also a problem. How can I live life like this without being a beggar, with having no kingdom? So Arjuna is confused. He felt life like a checkmate, this way, that way, both ways there is a dead end. As they say, na, devil ya deep sea, that was the situation literally. So he just didn't know what to do. But Arjuna was intelligent enough, and the beauty of his intelligence is he understood what is real intelligence, to understand that your intelligence has limitation. Arjuna was not thinking that I can in today. The problem in today's mindsets is people feel that I can do everything on my own. That's also a kind of ego. So Arjuna was very powerful, very successful. But Arjuna was actually great because he understood that he has a limitation. So therefore he took shelter of Krishna, was more intelligent than him. And Krishna at this point represents a guru or someone superior, someone who's more advanced spiritually. And then he actually very humbly went and told him, I am not able to figure this out. You please throw some light on it. And then Krishna gave his wisdom. And Arjuna gave it an open ear, an open heart. He understood that wisdom. He questioned Krishna. It's not that he accepted it blindly also. He questioned Krishna. Many times the same thing Krishna is repeating and the same thing Arjuna is asking. And only when he was fully convinced of Krishna's logic, he said, okay, my dear Krishna, now I will do. So we all have that choice, right? We may be confused, we may have our own limitations, definitely, right? But we can always go to someone superior, seek some guidance, hear him out. It's not that you have to at one go listen to him. That freedom to choose is still with you. Listen to him, ask questions, and if his logic fits you, then try it. Hmm.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, I've been doing this Bhagavad Gita classes for 2 years now, maybe over 2 years. 2 साल तो इधर ही हो गए, नहीं, longer now in Bangalore as well. And really, there is just so much to learn. I mean, you taught us this class before, then we forget. Now it's a reminder.
Yeah.
So, I really do believe, in my experience, having classes, satsang, it keeps on refreshing our
Yeah.
mind.
In Sanskrit, there's a verse in Bhagavatam which says, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. You have to keep going to Satsang, Gita, Bhagavat regularly. Because you're going to get confused regularly, you're going to land in problems regularly. So you have to keep going to these books regularly. You have to keep going to devotees regularly. That's the way life is. Arjuna also, it's not that he heard Gita only once. He heard it once, but even after hearing Gita, he said, okay, I'll fight. But then after a few days, when his son Abhimanyu was killed, Arjuna again lost his whole balance. And Krishna had to help him again. So these things happen. So Gita Bhagavad is not a one-time hearing. You have to keep going to these books again and again as your support system.
And also uh, taking action on, applying.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have found really these teachings very helpful to me.
Yeah.
I've applied them. I've sat there and thinking, now if you go this direction, it's going to make you unhappy. If you want to go in this direction, it's going to make you happy. So I have a choice. So I would not have been able to do that without your teachings, because I think, okay, now you have a choice. Is direction going is going to make you unhappy? Do you want to go that direction? So then I now am able to do that, whereas before I was not able to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know the secret. See, now I know the secret by listening to you. I do have a choice. Why do I keep on going making the wrong choices? But for the last 5 years, with the blessings of Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, I'm able to make good choices.
Yeah.
And also I
Reading,
don't
hearing,
worry.
and chanting. Yeah, these
Yeah.
things will help.
Also, I don't worry as much as I worried before. Before I used to worry. Now I say, Krishna loves you. Why you worry? It comes from my heart now. I say, Krishna loves
Madhuri
you.
has got now more experience with the BMW.
Even that is a blessing from Krishna. But I really genuinely believe that if we keep on attending, listening, it makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
It's made a difference to me. And I'm very grateful. Thank you. Making right choices. Understand. Forgiveness. That class on forgiveness was very important for me. Because once I forgave, I became free. Remember, I went through so much.
Yeah. Yeah, these things are, I mean, you can keep applying it on any level, but even if you start applying it on a small level, it makes a difference. थोड़ा भी कर दिया तो फर्क पड़ता है.
Veena ji, tell your experience. You have not missed many classes you have attended.
I'm following whatever it is. Everything, whatever you say, I try my best to follow.
Are all of you all regularly chanting?
I didn't get that.
Chanting.
We speak about chanting. We chant Krishna's name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this chanting is very important. Because when you chant, then Krishna comes to help you to make the right choice. So the problem with all of us is we know what to choose, but we don't have the strength to choose. The weakness of heart is too much. So we need Krishna to help us actually to choose what is the right also. So that Mahamantra, Krishna, when you call out to Krishna, my dear Krishna, you help me, and then you will see Krishna coming to help you, give you that strength to choose. Because to choose the right path requires a lot of courage and strength. To choose the wrong path is like you just flow with the flow. To choose the right path, and especially in a Kali Yuga, in this time and age, is not easy without that higher strength and that that kind of mercy of Krishna.
Actually, I don't think many of us realize that chanting, it actually calms us down as well. Don't you think? If the day is stressful, I just by saying Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, it sort of brings your balance. I find for me, it brings it back. Sometimes I get very stressed. I say, okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. And it brings my balance. It's like a balance.
Yeah. So all of you all, those who are not doing, please try to do. And those who are doing, please try to do a little more. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.